that, but also I want to just, how does that tie in your opinion, to inflation? The last 4 or 5 years, or last couple of years, we ran into $4 or $5 trillion of additional spending. They like to spend another $2 trillion, but everybody feels in our area that it's impacting inflation in a big year, and it's killing a lot. I'm in Florida, so a lot of our seniors count on a slight raise here and there, and this deficit is really hurting them badly. So what's your thought between spending and inflation? It seems like there's a connection.
Well, so spending has come down. Government spending and the deficit have come down dramatically. We had a substantial response to the pandemic, which was appropriate. It succeeded in getting our economy back to full employment and mitigating a great deal of harm. In that way, I think it was very successful. But there's no question that inflation is unacceptably high and we need to get it down. And it's partly a matter of demand and supply. And the Federal Reserve has a primary responsibility.
Madam Secretary, we're just short on time. Let me ask you just quickly, in terms of interest rates rising, it's impacting a lot of people. In the 70s, you know, we had inflation. We used that as I think our major tool to try to tap down inflation. But as you raise interest now, 50 basis points or 100 basis, you're probably talking $300 billion in additional taxes. It doesn't seem like we can continue to raise rates because of the massive deficits and the debt that we have.
First payment, a maximum of $841, was issued on September 1st. The second payment, also for up to $841, will be sent out at the end of the month. However, the $1,600 maximum total for September is only for single recipients. An eligible individual with an eligible spouse receives up to $1,200 per payment, while a stipend of $420 per payment goes to those living with or providing for SSI beneficiaries. The program is overseen by the SSA and provides monthly payments to adults and children with a disability or blindness who have income and resources below specific financial limits. SSI payments are also made for people 65 and up without disabilities who meet certain financial qualifications. You might be eligible to receive SSI monthly payments even if you already received SSI or SSDI or retirement benefits. About 7.6 million people receive SSI benefits, in fact, and not everyone gets the same amount. You might get more if you live in a state that adds the money to the federal SSI payment, or get less if you have other income. Because of the way the system works, 2 SSI payments are sent in September, April, and December. But that doesn't mean you're getting extra money. It's to make up to 3 months that have no payments sent out in January, May, and October. There is a new deposit date for inflation checks. Here's the listen up. Listen up, everybody. It's about to get really important. Millions of eligible households who qualify for the SNAP will continue to get an important financial boost amidst an inflation crisis that has dealt the United States a hard blow. The amount each family could receive mainly depends on their income as well as certain expenses. Several states have officially announced they will offer additional SNAP benefits to eligible families. The assistance is intended to help households struggling to make ends meet as a result of joblessness or decreased hours following the crisis. Last year, Congress and the USDA decided to temporarily modify SNAP eligibility. Under the new rules, each household must meet certain requirements and also asset requirements in order to qualify. The household income should be at or below 100.
Direct deposits and debit cards. APIX5's Lauren Toms breaks down how it works and spoke to Bay Area families about whether it will actually help.
Barring a refining disruption, I'm hopeful we can get to $3.49 between Halloween and Thanksgiving. He also added that there's an outside chance the national average reaches a low of $3.29. There's no major hurricane in the Gulf Coast or more refinery outages. However, analysts also warned the decline could slow temporarily and even turn higher in some areas like California and the Midwest. Prices were already rising recently in those areas as well. The least expensive states for gas are in the South. Drivers are paying an average of $3.26 for a gallon of gas in Texas and Arkansas, and some states continue to see much higher prices like California, where the average is $5.26 a gallon, and Nevada at $4.84. The U.S. exported nearly 10 million barrels of oil and refined products last week, according to U.S. Energy Information Administration. Exports of gas totaled 1 million barrels a day for the week. Everybody, Joe Biden's new Inflation Act is now offering up to $14,000 in additional financial assistance to many low-income families. There are over 70 Democratic lawmakers that are urging Congress to step up to the plate and pass legislation that would actually prevent a government shutdown. Joe Biden's Inflation Reduction Act on climate change is helping many Americans reduce their carbon footprint. A key element in that push is offering up to $14,000 in rebates and tax credits for people to make their homes more energy efficient. Those benefits can be used to lower the cost of home upgrades, ranging from installing heat pumps to buying new electric purchases, and like stoves and dryers. About 40% of carbon emissions stems from buildings, and so these incentives can actually help the U.S. achieve its goal of lowering fossil fuel emissions. According to experts, this gives people some very concrete and generous incentives to do that, both in the form of tax credits and direct cash rebates. CBS News has said that it is the biggest federal investment in buildings ever, at least one that is specified for climate change. There are two separate rebate programs. The Homes Rebate Program provides more than $4 billion in states to help residents make their entire home more energy efficient, and the program provides rebate based on the energy savings they upgrade their home in. And now, for instance, homeowners that make changes that cut their energy usage by at least 35% can get up to $4,000 in rebates. That amount is doubled for low and middle income households who can get $8,000 in rebates. High Efficiency Electric Home Rebate Act provides rebate for low and middle income families to electrify their home, like installing heat pumps or electric clothes dryers. The per household rebate is capped at $14,000, and households cannot receive two rebates for the same upgrade. The Homes Rebate Program would cover upgrades from solar panels to new windows that help your home become more energy efficient. The other program
West Virginians have long prided themselves in the dignity of hard work to support their family and the community where they live. On Labor Day, we recognize the grit and resilience of the men and women who work tirelessly to make America the best country in the world and to continue to keep our state and nation running. As long as we have been a state, West Virginia has always done the heavy lifting. Our workers have mined the coal, that forged the steel, that built the tanks and ships that have won our nation's wars. West Virginia powers our nation, not only with our natural resources, but also with our labor force. We have proven over and over again that the greatest strength of our economy is our workforce. Every West Virginian who goes to work.
The number of diverse staffers has increased, reaching the highest level since we launched our survey, and almost certainly the highest level ever. Certainly the highest level in our conference's history. Our survey also shows that more African Americans work for Senate Democratic offices than ever, and in fact that's also true for Latinos, Middle Eastern and North Africans, and Asian American Pacific Islanders. Additionally, more staffers identify as part of the LGBTQ community since we first asked that question starting in 2019.
He called for a number of changes to tax policy in his State of the Union address, including significantly raising the levy on stock, buybacks, and imposing a billionaire minimum tax.